Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we expose the not-so-hidden secrets inside corporate filings. Get ready, because today we're diving into MSP Recovery Incorporated's latest 8. Okay, and let me tell you, it is a wild ride, folks. Things are looking a bit dicey, so buckle up. And before we dive into the nitty-gritty, make sure you hit subscribe if you love getting these unfiltered insights into what companies are really up to. We also have a fantastic Discord community where we break down these filings even further. Link is in the description below. Alright, let's get straight into it. MSP Recovery Inc. has just filed a Form 8K reporting some rather spicy developments. Now, an 8K is basically a company's way of telling the public about major events that happen between their regular financial reports like earnings. Think of it as the company's real-time diary of significant happenings, and what is happening here is definitely significant. First up, under item 1.01, an agreement was reached on the 28th of October 2025 to reduce something called the floor price. Now, this involves a company called Kien Limited or Yorkville, and something called the Standby Equity Purchase Agreement or SEPA. For us regular folks, that just means they're tweaking the terms of a deal where Yorkville might buy company stock. The key takeaway here is they're lowering a floor price from $1 to 50 cents. This sounds like they're making it cheaper for Yorkville to buy shares, which could potentially dilute existing shareholders if they decide to sell more stock. Then there is news about a promissory note with Nomura Securities International Incorporated. The company has amended this note, which is basically a loan agreement. The headline here is that the principal amount outstanding is around $35.4 million. That is a big chunk of change. What is more interesting is that they've got a limited waiver to use up to $3 million from these convertible notes for company operations. This gives them some breathing room, but it also hints that they might need this cash to keep the lights on. Moving on to item 2.03, we see more details on these Yorkville deals. Remember that standby equity purchase agreement? Well, the company can sell up to $250 million worth of its stock to Yorkville. The company can choose when to do this. On top of that, Yorkville is providing advances in the form of convertible promissory notes. On the 10th of October 2025, they entered into a second supplementary agreement for up to an additional $3 million. Now here's where it gets a bit complex. These advances come with a 10% original issue discount. That means for every dollar they borrow, they only get 90 cents. They're also issuing a convertible promissory note for $0.50 million, which will result in net proceeds of $0.45 million. So again, they're getting less than they're borrowing. Now let's talk about how these convertible notes can become stock. Yorkville can convert these notes into shares of MSP Recovery's common stock. The price at which they convert is linked to the market price, but it cannot go below that 50-cent floor price we talked about earlier. And they can't own more than 9.99% of the company's stock as a result of this conversion. This 50-cent floor is key because it is a direct signal of how much they and the company think the stock is worth at a minimum. Now for the really dramatic part, item 3.01. This is a notice of delisting concerns. MSP Recovery Inc. received a letter from the NASDAQ capital market stating they are not in compliance with the minimum stockholders' equity requirement. Basically, they have a stockholders deficit of $128.4 million, which is way below the required $2.5 million. They were given until the 21st of October 2025 to get their act together, and the update on the 22nd of October 2025 is not good. They received a staff delisting determination, meaning NASDAQ is planning to suspend trading of their common stock by the end of October. A Form 25NS will be filed, which effectively kicks them off NASDAQ. Now this is huge. Being delisted from a major exchange like NASDAQ significantly impacts a company's ability to raise capital and can severely damage investor confidence. They have a very short window, a deadline of the 29th of October 2025, to request a review of this decision. They intend to request this review and hopefully they can convince the panel to let them stay listed. If they can't, they expect their stock to trade on the OTCQB venture market, which is a much less regulated and generally less prestigious exchange. Item Sen just confirms that the unregistered sales of equity securities detailed in item Sen are happening. It reiterates that Yorkville is represented as an accredited investor, and these sales are being done without registration, which is permissible under certain exemptions like Section C of the Securities Act. This basically means they're selling shares directly to a specific type of investor without the full public registration process. And finally, under item 9.01, we have the exhibits. These are the actual documents that support the information in the 8K, like the letter agreement, the amended and restated promissory note, and various agreements with Yorkville. These would be the nitty-gritty details for anyone who wants to dig even deeper. So what is the story here? MSP Recovery Incorporated is in a precarious financial situation. They're facing potential delisting from NASDAQ due to insufficient stockholders' equity. To stay afloat, they're making deals that involve lowering the price at which they can sell their stock and taking on debt through convertible notes with discounts. The Yorkville agreements show them trying to secure funding, but at terms that suggest a company under pressure. The reduction in the floor price to 50 cents and the significant amount of debt outstanding are clear warning signs. The biggest risk and opportunity for MSP Recovery is their ability to regain compliance with NASDAQ's listing rules. They are actively trying to appeal the delisting decision, which is their immediate lifeline. If they fail, their stock moving to the OTCQB venture market would be a major setback. Their strategy seems to be focused on survival and restructuring through these financial agreements. The key question is whether they can turn things around before their options run out. Can they generate enough operational cash flow or find a way to significantly improve their equity position to satisfy NASDAQ? It is a tough road ahead, and investors will be watching very closely to see if they can pull off this turnaround. Alright, that is our breakdown of MSP Recovery's latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate finagling. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more exclusive content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.